Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and in this video I'm looking at the Acer Aspire One. Now I don't normally look at Windows 8 based laptops, but I wanted to see how Windows 8 ran on a smaller, sort of lower powered laptop, just so I could sort of share my experience with you and let you know whether I think it's worth buying this sort of laptop. Now this has got an 11.6 inch screen, it's got an AMD, I've got to read this, a dual core C70 processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM and also 320 gigabyte hard drive. Now let's have a look around the sort of physical aspects of the laptop first of all. Now weight wise it's quite sort of weighty. I would say this is heavier than my MacBook Air definitely, and a little bit bulkier as well, but it feels very well made. Yes, it is a sort of plastic construction. We've got a plastic lid here. Feels nice and rigid though, so it's not a cheap sort of feel to it. It feels very well made in fact. Now across the front we've got some little status LED lights just here. And then on this side here, if I show you these ports, we've got a VGA port, we've got an Ethernet port, we've also got an HDMI port and then a USB 3 port. And then around the back, just a nice sort of clean design around the back. And then on this side, we have got a couple more USB 2 ports. We've also got a headphone jack just here. We've also got a power input port. And then this one just here is a Kensington lock. So if you were using this maybe in a work environment, you can use one of those sort of cable type locks to tether it down to a desk or a table. And then on the bottom, it's just sort of a series of sort of vents and the rubber feet, and also of course the battery, which you can swap out for another one if you so wish. And then opening it up, I was sort of a little bit surprised when I opened it because it is really looking nice when you open it up. We've got a nice keyboard. If I just show you the keyboard here, actually let me just turn it on whilst I'm showing you this. So we've got a really nice keyboard. You can see here it's a chiclet style keyboard, nice large trackpad as well on there, and it's just very well spaced. I wouldn't say it's a full-size keyboard. I think they might claim it to be, but it feels a little bit sort of cramped compared to my MacBook Air, but a nice typing experience, very nice indeed. And then the 11.6 inch screen, you can see there, very, very bright. In fact, very surprised at how this screen actually performs. It is extremely nice. And then of course, when you start the machine up, you've got that familiar tile interface of the Windows 8 operating system. Now, one thing I would say while I've been using this is it's not a touchscreen computer. And I've heard a lot of people say about this, when you're using Windows 8, you tend to want to reach up and actually physically touch the screen. And I found myself doing that, even though I don't use Windows 8 every single day. I did find that I wanted to flip around with this user interface. Instead, I had to use the trackpad, which unfortunately on this laptop hasn't got multi-touch gestures as far as I can see. I've tried and you can't do any sort of multi-touch gestures. So to use the interface, you can tap to sort of move across the tile interface, but it's just not very intuitive. That's the real negative. It's just the fact that touchscreens are what I would come to expect to use with Windows 8. But the actual performance is all right. Okay, it's not the highest spec laptop. It's not a Core i5 or a Core i7. It's this C70 processor, very low power. That means you get good battery life. I mean, on this, I'm experiencing probably about, I don't know, I would say at least a full day, day and a half without even worrying about it. And for most things like the regular applications and browsing and emails, things like Evernote, even Netflix on here works absolutely fine. You're not going to have any issues at all with it. And as I say, the typing experience is nice and it really is a nice compact package. I can't really complain about this laptop other than the fact that I wish it was a touchscreen, but then at this price point you're not going to get a touchscreen anyway. Now I've left links below if you want to know the current pricing on the Acer Aspire One. This is the model 725. I don't really talk about specific prices in my videos anymore because they fluctuate so much, so use Google product search for the Acer Aspire One 725 with the AMD dual core C70 processor, and you'll get to see how much this is currently selling for. But I think it is very good value for money, and for maybe a student or a low-cost laptop solution, I think this is absolutely fine. The screen, just to mention, is 11.6 inches and it has a 1366 by 768 resolution. Now that might not sound fantastic, but I think it is perfectly adequate for this size screen. This is the Acer Aspire One. I think it is a very good compact laptop. You can't really directly compare it to something like a MacBook Air because the pricing is so different. You get what you pay for, but for this you get a nice solid built laptop, and I think it's a really good choice if you're on a budget. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the Acer Aspire One model 725. Please do give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in the next video.